for those who don't know you, Flat Earth Dave, please introduce yourself. We've got quite a big audience on WBN 324, broadcasting on TalkStream Live amongst other places. So please introduce yourself.
So I'm just a normal guy. I worked in corporate America. I started my own business. I left corporate America, and during that journey, I was kind of learning about the truth, the deceptions of this world, the big ones, New York and Boston and Connecticut, and all the stuff, and just researching all of this stuff. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. I analyze things and I look at facts, and I don't listen to mainstream media. And I was doing a podcast on the side for fun called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and it was where two truth tellers, myself and Tim, would talk about all the deceptions in the world, and then the third guy, Mike, who was a comedian, tried to turn everything into a fart joke. And it was actually a great mix. And we went for 3 years, but in the third year, people started sending me, "Hey, Dave, 2014, have you looked into flat Earth?" I was like, "That's funny," and I just delete the email. And then they kept coming, and people were posting on our social media. And so I just would be, "You're too stupid to ever comment again. Banned for life, banned for life, banned for life." And I even told them, "Stop listening to our show. You need to really get help. Flat Earth, that's ridiculous. We all know the Earth is a globe. Eratosthenes figured it out 2,000 years ago. Seasons, sunsets, everything prove the globe. Ships over the horizon." But then one day I was talking to my good friend Sophia Smallstorm, who did 9/11 Mysteries and some other great documentaries. And we're talking about some crazy, stupid false flag event that was happening. And I said, "There's so much deception in this world, Sophia." And she goes, "Oh, David, it's worse than that." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I think the Earth might be flat." And I was like, "Nah, you too." And she sent me a couple of videos. Where do you get your information from? YouTube? Well, YouTube is like life. It has everything. It has truth. It has nonsense. It has comedy. It has everything. You just have to use discernment to sort it out. And so I started watching these videos, and I didn't even go in with the attitude, "I want to learn the truth." I went in with the attitude, "I'm going to prove the globe and disprove this flat Earth nonsense and shut these people up once and for all." And that's how you become a flat earther, right? So for 2 weeks, I didn't sleep. At that time, YouTube would feed you great stuff. "Hey, you like that? Watch this, watch this, watch that." And then sometime around 2017, we had the YouTube apocalypse, and they literally changed the algorithm. So now you search flat Earth, you search my name, you search anything. You get propaganda. You get 20 pages of propaganda, videos of guys with accents that sound like they're really smart, and they have professors in front of their names, and they're really just a bunch of hacks getting pushed by YouTube and making a lot of money doing it. Then they accuse us of doing this for money, when the truth is, flat Earth channels are pretty much demonetized and hidden. You really, when people say, "Well, Dave, I searched your name and I found some of your videos." Yep, because I broke the algorithm. What I do now, instead of going on my channel, I go on everyone else's channel. I've done over 1,000 interviews in the last 3 years, and the algorithm doesn't know what the hell to do, especially since the head lawyer with the whatever case with the Clintons, not the Clintons, whoever the hell the president is, his name is David Weiss. So the algorithm is totally screwed up and they don't know what to serve. And so luckily for me, my stuff is coming up. So I just tell people, you want to learn about flat Earth, you got to take the time and the effort, because belief is the enemy of knowing. I'm in Mexico right now. You believe that I'm in Mexico right now, but you don't know it. Now you're like, "Oh, there's a palm tree behind him. Maybe he is. He's somewhere warm. Maybe that's a fake palm tree. Maybe that's a green screen." You don't know. You can believe easy without any investigation. But when you start investigating, when you start looking, when you start opening your mind to the fact that maybe the deceivers of this world that are out to control everything have deceived you on a level so big that you can't see it, then you'll start to see. And here's the thing. Once you wake up to the idea that the Earth is flat, and you get past the, "Well, what difference does it make?" Because that's the greatest question of all. What difference does it make? Why would they lie? It's the biggest one. It's the one that will literally turn you into flat earther once you look into it. Once you get past it, everything changes. So flatearthdave.com. Don't believe anything I say. Go use the resources there and make up your own minds. Sorry for the long intro, but that's what it is.
Well, that's great. I mean, I've got to say, I was looking for, I like to, I like to play a bit of an intro tune about 10 minutes before we go on. And we as I say, we go live at 9 o'clock on the dot here, our time. But about 10 minutes before, I like to sort of play a bit of a tune for the D Live crowd to draw them in. And I thought, so I went looking on YouTube for ideas, and I searched up flat Earth music. I thought let's have a bit of fun. So I searched if there even was such a thing, and I found a few links. And what I found amazing was that even under, what was it? One track I found was Bare Naked Ladies. They did a track called Flat Earth.
Oh yeah.
And even this benign YouTube video had the usual Wikipedia debunking message underneath it, and it reminded me so much of COVID.
Yeah.
Anyone questioning COVID, the COVID narrative, you're going to get this Wikipedia fact check thing going on, and I'm thinking, why bother? Why bother triggering the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists even more?
Here's something
by putting that on there, you know.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. You know, flat Earth is an ancient concept that has been debunked. How? Where? You know, there was a huge mainstream article yesterday saying, "Can you believe there's still people believing in flat Earth?" Well, there's 2 or 3 easy ways to prove it, and their ways to disprove flat Earth are so asinine. They're the dumbest things ever. But the thing is, people just will believe. You know, people are like, flat Earth is stupid. It's been proven. Okay, it's been proven. I believe you. Hey, a guy, Eratosthenes, that no one could ever prove what he did, how he did it. And as a matter of fact, his experiment doesn't prove either flat Earth or globe Earth. It works on both, right? But you know, Carl Sagan said it in Cosmos, and you know, reiterated it, and it's in your textbooks, you know, which are written by the Rockefellers. Once you see where all this information is coming, you know, any smart person will go, well, what about seasons? What about high tide and low tide? What about eclipses? What about you know, sunsets? And then after each one of those is explained away where it works on flat Earth, they throw their hands up and they go, well, what difference does it make? Why would they lie? How could they keep a secret? They can't even keep a BJ a secret in the White House. And then you find out how they do it, why they do it. You know, the all the wars in the world are over power and land and resources. Well, what if there wasn't 7 continents? What if there was 7,000 continents, right? And they just put us in our little circle, and they say, this is all there is. And then there's other civilizations out there, advanced civilizations, primitive civilizations, all different kinds of civilizations, more land, more resources. And they're just keeping that all for themselves and keeping us as little slaves in their little circle. And, you know, we're in a war that we don't know about. It's a spiritual war. It's an energetic war. It's a war because, you know, we think that, you know, most people that believe in the ball, you know, are nihilistic and you know, that just have a false belief in reality, and they think that we're really nothing. But the truth is, we are at the center of creation. We are powerful beings, and these beasts, these satanic worshiping monsters that are trying to control us. And you know, when we look at who are the controllers, well, I think the controllers are being controlled by other controllers. It goes farther up. Like, you don't know who's at the top, but they are literally harvesting our energy. You remember the movie, the science fiction movie, The Matrix? Well, it's now a documentary. Okay, along with it used to be a comedy movie, The Idiocracy. Now it's a documentary. I think it's a Mandela effect. It became a documentary, and it's always been a documentary. But if you look at, you know, we are literally a couple steps away from the middle of Idiocracy. It's absolutely insane how blind the world is. And all I tell people is, you know, you can't drag somebody to a movie, a 3-hour movie, on a subject that they hate. You can't do it. It's just impossible. Nobody will do it. So you have to start them off, right? My YouTube channel is DITRH. It's just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And all my videos there are under 5 minutes, or most of them are under 5 minutes, right? And all I say is just start watching those. And I guarantee you spend a day going through those 5 minute, 3 minute, 2 minute videos, you're going to say, all right, give me something longer. Then you're going to go to the documentaries. And then before you know it, you're going to be like, I need to see The Lost History of Flat Earth, which is 5 hours. 5 hours, right? I was deep into flat Earth, and people said when that first came out, have you guys seen that Lost History of Flat Earth?
Yeah.
So people started sending me this video. I'm like, what is this video? I'm like, 5 hours. I'm not watching that. And so more and more people keep sending me it. And I just said, all right, well, one day I'll watch it. And one night at 11 p.m., I'm cleaning up some stuff. Let me just throw this on while I finish cleaning up. 5 minutes later, I stop cleaning. 10 minutes later, my jaw's open, right? Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. Holy crap. I spent up all night and then I went to sleep, slept a couple hours, got up again and watched it again. I watched the 5-hour video twice. I watched the 5-hour video twice in 24 hours. Okay. That tells you something. Now, I tell people, hey, you want to jump in a fire hose? Start off right there. Start off right there. You're right there. You might go into shock. You might need somebody to recess you, if you just start there, because there's so many rabbit holes in that movie. But the best place to start is if you go to my website, scroll down to the crash course. See a big picture of me. Click the crash course. And the first video is called 21 questions. And it answers the top 21 questions in 3 or 4 minute format for each question. You watch that, you're screwed. You're done. You're finished. The globe is over. And then you're not going to know everything, but you're going to know enough to know that the globe is a lie. Flat Earth has some merit to it. You don't have to believe Flat Earth at that point, but once you start digging in deeper, the meme that the Flat Earth haters, the anti-Flat Earthers, the paid or possessed trolls have is there's absolutely no proof of Flat Earth. Yeah, there is. There's only proofs of Flat Earth. There's 0 proofs of the globe. And I know it for a fact because for the last 3 years, I've been offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. Anybody that can come up with 1 globe proof, 3 Bitcoins. And everyone that's honestly tried, has become a Flat Earther. So be careful. If you're not ready to, possibly lose some friends, lose some family members, don't try to disprove Flat Earth because you'll end up being a Flat Earther. But you know what? That was 2014, 2015, 2016. It's 2024 right now. Everyone's waking up to Flat Earth. It's incredible. If you check out my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and go to the Friend Finder, the blue dots, are literally blackening our country. You can't even see. You can't even see the country anymore because it's covered with Flat Earthers. Do you guys have my app? Do you know about my app?
Yeah.
Where are you guys located?
Found out about it
Yeah. So I'm gonna just show for the viewing audience here. This is the East Coast of the United States. You can't. Those black things are just blue dots on top of blue dots, right? It's ridiculous. It's getting crazy, and it's just begun. It's just people are just learning about this right now. There's 128,000 people registered on the Friend Finder. I say this time next year, there's going to be 10 to 20 times that amount of people, maybe more.
I mean, that's to me, that is incredible. I've done a little bit of digging. I think it was about a week and a half ago. I checked out your YouTube channel. And I played about half an hour of it was on the video you've got on your homepage on YouTube. So I listened to the first half hour of that, and I thought, really, really interesting stuff. It's not really a subject that I think about very often, but I know it seems to have gained popularity. I did a little bit of digging, and I know I'm going to read something out now. So I know you will have something to say about this.
No, I won't.
The Flat Earth Society was started in the 1800s by a man called Samuel Rowbotham.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to explain what's wrong with this, but I'll read on. After Rowbotham's death, the flat Earth idea was continued by another Samuel. This was Samuel Shenton, who founded the International Flat Earth Society, who said rather interestingly, and I think maybe this leans into what you're saying. I'm sure you'll correct me in a minute, but he said, no man knows the ultimate shape of the Earth, but that portion we live on is definitely flat. No one will ever know what the whole complexity is like, I suppose, because it goes beyond his sphere of observation, investigation, and comprehension. So is that kind of somewhere getting close to?
Yeah. So let me give you. Samurai Robotham was a true flat earther. He was trying to wake the world up to flat Earth back, whatever year that was. And then when he died, Shenton took over. And I believe Shenton is a government operative because they suck you in with a little bit of truth. Hey, we're flat, but we don't know what shape it is. Okay. And then they mix a little, I call it the crap in the stew theory. You got a beautiful stew. It's got steak, potatoes. It's got all sorts of stuff in it. And there's one dog crap in there. No one's going to eat the stew. And that's what he does, right? That's what he does. The Flat Earth Society page has some truth in it, but it goes, flat earthers think the Earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second, which is causing the downward force, and that's not the case. Nobody thinks that except some crazy people. And, the thing is, globe believers, people that defend the globe blindly, know nothing about their own model. If they knew a 10th, a 20th of what flat earthers know about the heliocentric model, they'd be flat earthers, because the heliocentric model literally is the dumbest crap on earth. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Every single aspect of it actually proves that it's scientifically impossible. For example, everywhere in nature, in a lab, everywhere, science tells us that high pressure will equalize to low pressure, right? If you have let's say you have a glass box and you suck all the air out of it, and so it's a vacuum, a void of any pressure. You open a valve on any side of the box, top, bottom, left, right, any altitude, anywhere, the air is going to violently fill the space. High pressure will equalize with low pressure. So we live on a lumpy ball with smooth curved water that no one's ever been able to measure any curvature. And it's surrounded by high pressure air adjacent to the strongest void of pressure known as outer space, without any barrier. That is just scientifically impossible. All of the air would be sucked off the Earth. The only thing they can say is gravity holds it down, but I can prove that's not the case, because I can, with a straw and the weak low pressure system of my mouth and lungs, I can pull air and water up and away from the surface of the Earth, where I'm near the surface of the Earth. Gravity's stronger than it is near wherever space starts. And I could pull it away effortlessly. A summer breeze blows left and right. I could hold my arms up, but the Earth can hold up trillions and trillions and trillions of pounds of water on the underside of the Earth while it's spinning. If the Earth was spinning, centrifugal force would put all the water at the equator. There would be a lump of water at the equator. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, says there's a 14-mile bulge of water at the equator. 14-mile bulge. That's 3 times the height an airplane flies. So when you're flying from North America to South America, at what point do you triple your altitude just to skim over that giant wave? Right? No, nowhere. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. They land on a stationary Earth. All airplane maps, all engineering, everything uses a flat Earth plane. Right? Airplanes, when they're coming into runway, let's say that they're 100 miles away, they have to calculate their rate of descent to hit the runway. They're like, okay, we're 100 miles away. We got to calculate, we're at 39,000 feet. We got to descend by this number of feet per minute to hit the runway. But they don't calculate curvature. Well, at 100 miles away, the airport is over a mile lower than the land below them. So how do they calculate for that? They don't. They just ignore it, and they land perfectly. Imagine this. You're at the North Pole. You're pirouetting every 24 hours. You're spinning around in a circle. You're not moving. You're on the equator. You're moving 1,000 miles an hour to the east, because the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So you take off from the North Pole and you fly to the equator, to Ecuador, and you want to land on a runway oriented north-south. That runway is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. How the heck do you get that sideways tangential speed to land on the runway? The globe answer is just stupid. Well, gravity is holding you, and as you go, you're slowly speeding up, and you don't notice the difference. I mean, give me a break. That is like, globers, because they believe the Earth is a globe, will make up anything and believe it themselves. They'll actually believe it themselves. So there you go. I can talk forever. Sorry for talking so long. You can just flag me down when you want me to shut up.
Right. Listen, hang on. I'm just going to ping some mics on here. Chloe, this is Chloe.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Chloe.
Yeah, I've only skimmed the surface really of flat Earth, but like as a child, I had a deep sense that we were being lied to about, like on a big scale. And as a child, I was questioning the shape of the Earth and just thinking, how would it be possible to even land a plane if this ball is spinning? Like, how is that even possible?
Not
Like,
at all.
as
Not
a
at all.
kid, it was just like, why are they telling me that it's possible to land an airplane on a fixed point on a spinning ball?
Right.
How is that possible?
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not. And you know, they say that the air is velcroed to the earth and it goes, you know, the gravity's holding it down, it's spinning. Baloney. Air blows left and right. At 40,000 feet, there's 350-mile-an-hour currents of wind that airplanes get in and get tailwinds from. And you know, they know where all of these wind streams are, these jet streams, and they use them to their advantage to fly greater distances to make you believe that it's not as far from Santiago to Australia, because the plane is going like 1,000 miles an hour ground speed, and no one knows it. Not even the pilot. Pilot doesn't even know it. It's amazing. A lot of people say, you know, the Southern Flights prove that the Earth is flat Earth is possible. On the app, go to the frequently asked questions page, go to the Southern Flights videos and watch those. Watch the videos. It takes a little bit of time to learn the truth, but if you take the time, it is fascinating. One thing flat earthers all have in common is we are never bored. Boredom doesn't exist. Right? If you have insomnia, like if you're a flat earther, you have insomnia, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're like, I got 5 hours before I have to talk to anybody. I can go do some more research. So it doesn't matter. I mean, this world is so fascinating. But they want you sitting in front of your lie vision programming, right? So they can program you with their nonsense. They're programming you to envision the reality that they want. Right? They want us to start a civil war. So they're setting up a situation where we all believe a civil war is going to start, and then we're going to start it. I mean, or you know, unless people wake up. You know the movie that just came out, the Obama movie called Leave the World Behind? Did you guys watch it? All the symbolism in there, all
Not
the
seen
stuff.
that yet. No.
Literally, they want us to create that reality. It's not going to happen without us, right? We couldn't start all these wars in the Middle East until everyone pounded the war drums. So they pulled off 9/11, and then everyone pounded the war drums, including me, and then they could do it. And it's like, so if we all unplug from the system, I just saw a report. You guys got to watch Greg Reese. Greg Reese. Go find him on Telegram, find him on Substack, find him on my Stop Look Think Facebook page. His videos are all 5 minutes, 4-minute videos. They're amazing. But he was talking about the real president of the Ukraine, this woman who's trying to fake a bombing of a nuclear power plant to increase the war. And then a whistleblower came out and said that they paid these private contractors like $5 million each in cash to blow up this thing, which would kill they figured it was going to kill like 25, 50 innocent civilians or whatever. And the contractors said, no, they're not going to do it because these contractors are slightly awake or very awake. You know, they'll do anything, but they're like, I'm not going to do that. And these people were counting on people having enough greed to override their sense of morality. So that is an amazing thing that just happened. It should bring a lot of light and hope to people's hearts. The thing is, if we all focus on the good world, the real world, I'm not saying ignore the nonsense that's going on out there. I said, but don't feed it. Don't feed it. We live in an energetic, spiritual, physical simulation. I don't like using the word simulation, but I'm going to use it because everything's a simulation. We're here physically. If you were here, I could punch you in the shoulder and it would hurt. It's a physical simulation. It's not a computer game. But once you realize that we are eternal and that we are here for a purpose and that we are at the center of creation, this place is amazing. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable.
David, this is Leo here.
Leo.
What was I going to say?
You're a big fan.
Could you tell them the story about when you were 10-year-old in school with a bucket?
It wasn't even 10. I think it was like 5 or 6 or 7, whatever.
Oh, 5 or 6. Oh,
yeah. Like first grade. I don't think it was kindergarten. So the teacher, and I think his name was Mr. Ross, a big beard, and he wore a blue 3-piece suit. They wore 3-piece suits as teachers back then. And he brings us out to the playground to show us. He takes a bucket of water with a rope on it, swings it around, swings it over his head, and he goes, the water didn't spill out because of gravity. And as a little kid, I said, wait a minute. But if we're on a globe and the water's on the outside, you have to turn the bucket around and point it to the outside. And I remember he goes like this. He goes over to his textbook and he comes back, and his textbook looked like it was gone through 20 different teachers. It had highlights and sticky notes and everything, all different colors. And he showed me the 2 lines that told him how to do that experiment. And he goes, that's how they're telling me to teach it, and that's how I'm going to teach it. But you keep asking questions. And then he sent me off to play. I went on the swings, and I didn't think about it again. So that was like one of my earliest memories. And now look at me. I'm friggin' Flat Earth Dave. I walked away from my own company, everything I worked for my entire life that I never thought I'd obtain. I obtained it, and I walked away from it all to try to wake up the world. This place is crazy.
It's nuts.
Kiribati, Dave.
Oh, hang on. Let me ping the. Go ahead, Leo.
Kiribati, Dave.
Kiribati. So we don't need to speculate what's beyond 60 degrees south or above as high as we can get to prove the Earth is flat. That's easily done. Earth has been proven flat a billion times over at this point. But one thing we were looking at, you can go on shiptracker.com or whatever there's sites where you can track all the cargo ships in the world. And we were tracking some ships. We were just looking, and we saw, wait a minute, there's a ship 700 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica. Like, how did it get that far in? Antarctica is frozen. At least it's frozen ice, if not, it's ice, land with ice on it. 700 miles. We found other ships in there, and they're way inside of Antarctica. But if you know what the flat Earth is a pond. Okay, we're in a big pond with a bunch of islands. The North Pole is at the center of the pond, and the shoreline of the pond that contains all the water is the highest land on Earth that we call Antarctica, right? So if you think of a big lake in Kansas, 100 miles across, can't even see across the lake. That's the whole world. And Kansas is Antarctica, bigger than that lake. And we don't know where, maybe there's other lakes. But what they did is they took, a line, they drew a line, leaving just a wall, the ice wall of Antarctica, and they wrapped it around a ball and tucked it on the bottom and says, that's a continent on the bottom, and you're not allowed to independently explore there. So how did the ship get there? So we clicked on the ship, and normally there's tons of information, but the only thing they said is this ship was 800, I'm forgetting the number. It's like 840 meters long by 80 meters wide. That is a gigantic ship. How did it get there? And it was registered in Kiribati. I'm like, what the heck is Kiribati? So we looked at it. It's a tiny, 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 tiny little atoll sandbar in the middle of the South Pacific. You can't see it. Like, unless you go on Google Earth and zoom in and go right across it or search it by name, you find this little thing. And we did a little research on there. We found out China in the last couple of years gave them $11 billion. And America, I found out after that, gave them a similar amount. Well, and they said that it's a very, very important trade route. So that's interesting. And then, on Kiribati, one of our researchers said they found a bed and breakfast called the Captain Cook Bed and Breakfast. Captain Cook's the guy that tried to sail around Antarctica, and he went 350,000 miles rather than 11,000 miles. Which one of them makes perfect sense on a flat Earth. So we're like, what the heck? So if you lay that out, it looks like they're going to the outer lands beyond Antarctica. Spread the lake, you open up that ball again. And there's other, that we found other maps that show, 30 or 40 continents just around the outside of Antarctica. So maybe it is an important trade route. Maybe they're trading computer chips. Maybe they're trading tuna fish. Maybe they're trading children. We don't know any of it. And it's very interesting. And there's tons of evidence and stories and books from the 1800s and earlier of people going in the outer lands. I highly recommend on the books section of my app, there's going to be, it'll say, I'm going to have it divided out into sections very soon, but the outer land section, there's some great books, The Iron Republic, The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall. Amazing stuff. And it'll blow your mind. But think about this. We had somebody that works in the computer chip, the Intel, computer chips. And they say that these technicians, they're constantly trying to make these computer chips better. So they're backward and they're looking at them like, we can do this. And they make these tiny, tiny, tiny little improvements, if anything, he said. He goes, but then there's a need for a much higher, faster processor. And all of a sudden, one of the executives will go, here, look at this chip. And he give them a completely new chip. And then for years or however long, they try to make it better. And then a new chip is brought to them. They don't know where these chips are coming from. Maybe they're coming from these outer lands. Maybe we're trading them for weapons. Maybe we're, they're giving to us, and who knows? Maybe we're trafficking children out there. Where do all those missing kids go every year? I don't think the elite actually would give up the kids because they love them too much to give them away. You know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
So the Kiribati thing is very interesting. There's a whole bunch of things about Kiribati. Also, nuclear testing they did out there. Well, if you know that nuclear bombs don't exist, that's a whole nother thing. Anybody that doesn't know that, please go to Crow with 2 R's, CRROW 777 radio podcast. I think it's episode 35 and 400. You can just ask them, or I think you can just search the site for Nuke Hoax and watch that. And then you'll know, not wonder, not theorize, you'll know that nuclear bombs don't exist. And and once you understand that, now if you ever happen to be listening to the news by accident and they're like this and that, and and it could start a nuclear war. When you say nuclear war, instead of having every cell in your body get distressed and cause dis-ease because you're like, oh my God, nuclear bomb, are these psychopaths going to do it? You'll be like, nuclear bombs, these guys are clowns. Literally, when I hear someone say nuclear bomb, I see a little red nose on them and curly colored hair, because they're clowns. Either they're puppets for the elite doing the bidding their business, or they're just ignorant and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, amazing.
That's good to know, actually, because my 11-year-old son was really scared the other day because he heard something about bloody nuclear war and something that he'd seen, and I didn't really know whether they existed or not, to be honest, but I said that's not something an 11-year-old needs to be worrying about,
When I was 11, they were making us duck and cover under chairs for nuclear bomb drills. I'm like, for the nuclear bombs, that's what they say. What is going under this little 2-pound desk, or 5-pound desk, whatever it is, you're going to do? So that is all part of traumatizing, keeping people scared, and I
did say to him a lot of it is fear. I mean, he doesn't go to school, but obviously he still has influence. But I tell him that most stuff is put out there to scare people.
How old is your son? 11, you said?
He's 11. He's never been to school.
Good for you. Good for you. I highly recommend.
We got three parents in this room right now. Well, technically 4 parents in the house. None of our kids go to school.
Mine have never been.
One of the way, and by the way, population is a complete and total hoax.
Oh, of course it is.
Population was what they say it is, which it isn't. I think it's less than 3 billion. Everybody could have every family could have an acre in Australia, and half of Australia would be empty. Every family could live in Texas, and half of Texas would be empty. Or no,
my dad was talking about
it's
this.
So stupid. It's so ridiculous. But something like Crow, I'm telling you that if you guys don't know about the Crow podcast, or if you do, I say that's college. $8 a month. That's college.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about anything. And I've told people, don't send your kids to school. Send them to Crow College. And I said, if you want a house somewhere with a bunch of friends, like on the Cape or something, and so they can learn kite surfing and gardening and ride bikes and all sorts of stuff, and just listen to one. And a bunch of people have done it, and they say that their kids are so well-rounded. They have drive and motivation. They've lifted themselves out of depression, and they're not in debt. One of the biggest depopulation things is college. Why didn't you have more kids? Well, I was worried about affording college. People say, well, I'm worried about the money. And that's how they got people to stop having kids. College. Right? That's why everyone gets into college, even if you don't have any money. They'll just, we'll lend you the money. We'll lend you, And, it's all about depopulation. And of course, they want you in college so they can program your mind to believe complete and total, utter nonsense.
Brainwashing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Totally.
It's amazing.
Listen, we've got 18 minutes before we go off air. I mean, feel free to stick around as long as you like, because the chat carries on D-Live. But I understand if you've got to.
I'll go a little longer. Fine.
Chloe.
You mentioned something about the books. I'll download your app soon, Dave. But you said about books. I love reading. Are most of the books on there easy to get hold of?
Oh yeah, most of them are on Amazon, and they're mostly are easy to get. But I'm telling you, and your son, oh my God, get the whole series of The Navigator Across the Ice Wall. They're literally, large print, some pictures,
Okay.
easy reading, and he'll be blown away. It's literally the story of Star Wars, but here on Earth. Star Wars is a
Okay.
actual true story, but it's
Oh yeah,
about
it's all based.
here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
based on the
Yeah.
terrestrial plane, right?
Yeah.
And all of those
Mhm.
planets, pieces of the plane, a planet, right? Pieces of the plane.
Yeah.
Once you start seeing this stuff,
Okay,
space
yeah.
is scientifically impossible, right? If the Earth is flat, like we believe, and the sky is, I believe the sky is flat too, but we are inside of our own domes. Again, this is all, we're speculating. It's scientifically possible. If we live here, there could be another pond on the other side of Antarctica, and another pond, 178 ponds, as one map shows. And this navigator explorer from the past, William Morris, this story is amazing. If it's not true, he's the greatest writer of all time, the greatest fiction writer of all time. All right.
I really want to read it now.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. He's got 3 short books that he just came out with, one regular length book, which I'm actually reading on vacation here. I forget the exact name. But it's fascinating, truly fascinating. And then online, another one that you might like is if you go to the channel The Morgile and you search, I think you just search The Iron Republic, read by The Morgile. It's on YouTube. It's a 5-hour video of him doing a spectacular job reading the book. Your son will be blown away. His mind will be blown. You'll love it. It's a great book. Great book.
Oh, thank you for the recommendation. And
Sure.
actually, the whole flat Earth thing is a bit of an ongoing debate with me and my son, because he's convinced it's a globe. I mean, he's only young, but it's a bit of an ongoing debate with us. So it'd be good to
Show him what
get-
Bitcoin is if he doesn't know already.
Yeah.
And tell him he could have 3 of them if he can come up with one globe proof, and then it'll be over. Then he'll be
Okay.
able, and then he'll be Tell him he'll get 3
Okay.
of those, and then he could literally, tell him let him understand what he could do with 120, 30 grand.
Because I've asked him to show me proof as well, and so far the only sources that he's come up with are, NASA. And I said they're a Hollywood production; they can't be trusted.
Well,
So
I mean, you
don't
catch
show me
NASA.
anything from
Yeah.
NASA.
You catch NASA faking one thing, you can unwind it to everything they do is fake. But we've caught them faking
Exactly.
1,000 things. It's not even it's not even a theory anymore, or not even an if or a but. We catch them: green screens, wires, also augmented reality, doing all of this stuff. And then the scientific impossibility of the things that they claim to do is also. So once you can wrap your mind around that, everything just kind of unwinds. And I think that people like Dave, with all the stuff going on in the world, child trafficking, war, and the famine, and this and that, how can you focus on flat Earth? Flat Earth is the reason they gotten away with it all. The globe lie makes you insignificant, flying through space, hopeless, and a limited planet. We're in fear of asteroids and everything else. And that's how they're able to keep you off balance, lost in space. And you'll believe anything. You'll believe a little boogeyman flies through the air, and if you walk by somebody and the boogeyman comes out of them, you're going to get the boogeyman, and then it's going to kill you, when the fact is none of that's true.
Amazing. Listen, has anyone else round the table got any more questions? We've got just under 15 minutes. We got Emma. Has just joined us here. So let me try and swing the camera around. I'll just show you, Dave, who you're looking at, because you can. This is Emma. And
nice to meet you. I'm just wondering what your view is on astrology and the zodiac.
Yeah. So I used to. I was a big science guy. Took astronomy for 4 years in college because I was really good at it. It was great. I could regurgitate all that stuff and believed everything they told me. And astrology, how stupid! Mars is in retrograde. Mars can't even. It's so far away, 25 million miles or 40 million miles, whatever it is. It can't even affect our tides. How is that going to affect your life? It's so stupid. A rock in space isn't going to affect your life. But then after you you find out there's a saying out there: millionaires don't use astrologers, but billionaires do. Right. And I've heard that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, whatever, these guys. And then when I discovered that the Earth is not a globe, and that the stars and the wandering stars, all named after gods, are energetic and luminaries, and they're very, very close to the Earth, and that all of the major events in the world happen at all these different alignments and eclipses, and all of these things dictate these things. Astrology is the real science of this world, because I didn't believe in the whole energetic, spiritual thing. I thought we were worm meat when we were dead. So astrology is the real. I wish I understood it even better than I do, but I got good friends that are great astrologers. You can be an astrologer and be a globe earther. You're just not going to be that great, right? In astrology, they talk about the movement of all of the planets, right? Why aren't they talking about the movement of Earth? In astrology, the Earth is stationary, right? But we're moving 4.4 billion miles a year. How come they don't account for that in astrology? Because we're not moving. And I know many astrologers that have become flat earthers and become super powerful astrologers after doing that. And once they understand, how the flat earth model works, and another thing people say is, you flat earthers, you don't have a model. We do have a model. We have a working model. It's 2,000 years old. If you look on the app under the FE movies section, or on my website under the crash course, there's a video called The Mechanical Realm. It's about the Antikythera mechanism, which they've hidden from us. It was discovered off of Greece, and it was a 2,000-year-old computer that we couldn't build today by ourselves, that shows the movement of all of the planets, or some of the planets, and all of the eclipses, and it's more accurate than the finest Swiss watch, as far as, going hundreds and hundreds of years. It's amazing. It's a working model of the flat earth, but will you watch it? It's a 2-hour movie. If you're not interested, you're not going to watch it, and you just want to believe that there's no proof of flat earth, when everything proves flat earth. The fact that we're alive proves flat earth. You can't live on a ball in a space vacuum.
Okay, right. We got just over 10 minutes to go. Colin, have you got any questions?
You mentioned something about tides, Dave.
Yeah. So
I know tides happen. I used to work at sea, but I can't get me head around how tides would work on a flat earth.
Yeah, so they tell us that the tides are by the gravity of the moon. And when
They do.
Yeah. So there's also these things called tidal nodes. They're all over the earth, where there's no tide, and the high and low tides circle around these tidal nodes, which have no correlation to the moon. However, there is a correlation to the moon. When there's a full moon, we have extra high tides, right? You with me on that?
Yeah, spring tides, we call them here.
Yeah. So when there's a full moon, that means that the moon is on one side of the globe Earth and the sun is on the far side of the globe Earth, right? So we have a high tide under the moon. Then we have a low tide on the two sides of the Earth. And then we have another high tide on the back side of the Earth, because the tides are every 6 hours apart around the Earth, right? And Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of lying, says the moon is pulling the water away from the Earth, causing the high tide. And then the reason there's a high tide on the other side of the Earth is because the moon is pulling the Earth away from the water. Just think how stupid that is, right? That's literally the physical, the explanation. But think about this. When there's a new moon, that means the sun and the moon are right next to each other, lined up with the Earth. Well, the sun's gravity is holding on to Pluto, for Christ's sake. You don't think it could pull on the tides? How come we don't have gigantic tides when there's a new moon? Right? We just have regular tides, right? The sun and the moon are on the same side of the Earth pulling the water? Absolutely not. We live in this giant electrical system. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode of the battery. The land is the salt bridge, and the salt water carries the current. That's how a battery works, right? So when there's a full moon, the moon is powering up, has more of an electromagnetic attraction to the salt water, not the fresh water. If it was gravity, it would pull all the water. You would be lighter during a full moon, right?
It wouldn't rain, would it?
It wouldn't. Well, it wouldn't.
The rain would go up,
right? And we don't have time to get into it, but this whole gravity thing, it's all electrostatics. The Earth is a negative charge. Everything in the air is a positive charge. And when the charge is, everything follows this downward flow of energy. There's a company in Australia that will guarantee you no rain for your event, where they literally go up into the clouds and they just put a negative charge into the clouds to stop the water from coming down. Okay. Are they defying gravity? Or are they playing with electrostatics?
That is really, I mean, I've never thought of it like that, but that is very interesting. I'm going to look into it some more.
On the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, on the frequently asked questions page, there's a gravity button. Yeah. Just hit that button and take some time. Each one of those buttons is days and days of videos. You don't have to watch them all. just watch. The right ones will come up, and Yeah. By the way, for those of you that don't know about the app, it's $3. It's a one-time charge. Now, there are advanced features, like if you want to message people and create profiles and do all this other stuff, it's $11 a year. The reason for that is it costs me more than $3 per user to use for everyone to be using those functions. Okay. So this is just about being able to develop this app and make it better and better and better. And $11 a year, I'm sorry, if you have a problem with that, maybe you should be focusing on your life instead of, trying to fix the world. But I also make it so on the app, if you go into the friend finder and on the upper left, there's a button for the referral button. You can just create a referral name. Mine is DITRH. And anyone that you show the app to, when you're talking flat Earth, you show them the app, you show them a thing, and everyone says the same thing. Oh, where do I get this app? And then you say, oh, here, show them the QR code or just send them to the app. And when the first thing the app will ask them, do you have a referral code? Give them your code. Then you'll get a point, and after 11 points, you can trade them in for a free subscription if you want, right? And so I make it super easy, because sometimes the kids like, I'm on my mom's phone bill. I was able to get the app, but I can't do the subscription. I'm like, just show it to people, get 11 points, and you get a year's subscription. So there you go. Sorry, I'm plugging the app because the app literally is the single best way to get the information just for yourself and to show other people. The image search section, and now we have video search. Like if there's a flat Earth video that you're like, what was that video where, I remember part of the name or was on this, just type it in the search and all the videos come up. It's really, really, it's amazing. Like Dave was on InfoWars, just type in InfoWars, right? And bam, there it is, or Alex Jones, and it'll come up. And I don't even know where to find those videos anymore. I have so many videos, so I just use the search on the app, and it literally is what the YouTube search used to be before they stole it from us.
Wow.
David, would you like to mention the aeroplane routes? Because I think that's pretty.
Did he mention that?
No.
Yeah. So think about this. We've got minutes. I understand. So think a globe. You got a globe. The top half is the north, and the equator's in the middle. The bottom half is the south. If you picked any two northern airports, any combination of any two airports in the north, an airplane going from one to the other would never cross the equator. Makes sense, right? Think about it. The shortest point between those 2 points would never account you to cross the equator. Even if they were both on opposite sides of the ball, just above the equator, you would just follow the equator around. You wouldn't dip below the equator and then come back up, because that's a longer route. Well, guess what? Northern flights never go below the equator. If you're going from any north airport to any other north airport, never goes below the equator. In the south, the same thing should be true. While you're on the bottom side of the ball, flying upside down, crazy. And going from any southern location to any other southern location, you should never cross the equator, just like in the north, right? Symmetry on a ball. But they do. Going from, South America to from Argentina to Johannesburg or Australia, they go all the way up into the north and cross over, but draw that line on a flat Earth map, and it's usually, fairly straight line. It makes perfect sense on a flat Earth. And the other thing is emergency landings. If you go to my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down, you'll see a banner for 16 emergency landings, amazing coffee table book, where we found emergency landings where somebody died, has a heart attack, having a baby, whatever. They got to land, and they land in a place that's impossible from where they were. Like they're flying 1,000, 1,500 miles out of their way to land in 15 minutes. Impossible. It would take 3 hours, 4 hours to go that far. And they land. And then if you draw a line between the origin and destination on the flat Earth map, that airport they happen to land on is right on that line. Every time. On the app, go to the images section and just type in Southern flights, and all of those maps are there. And that alone will wake someone up. If you're talking about somebody, pull up the app, search Southern flights. And all of those maps will come up that I'm talking about, and you just show this to people. They'll be like, wow. Don't forget to give them your referral code, because they're going to get the app, because they want to show other people too.
I'll tell you, fabulous. I did in the video I watched the other week,
30
as an introduction to your work. I mean, it's all Leo's fault. The guy on the end here, this is Leo. It's all his fault that we got to having this conversation, but absolutely fascinating. But I remember seeing part of this video, that the half hour that I had the time to watch, this thing about the flight paths. It does make sense. I will say that, because
Hey, one thing before we run out of time, I'll stay a little longer. I am speaking at Acapulco in Acapulco, February 10th to 16th. Biggest freedom conference ever. Anyone that can make it there, it's life-changing, but you can also stream it online. You can find the banner on my website, flatearthdave.com. And this year, they've never had a flat earth speaker, but this year, like 15 of the speakers are flat earthers, from Anthony, from the truth freedom people, the health people. They're flat earthers. It's going to be an amazing, amazing conference. I have a killer presentation. And then after that, next year in the UK, where are you guys? Are you guys in the UK?
We're UK, yep.
I'm speaking at the Sounds Beautiful Festival. I think it's soundsbeautiful.com or it's soundsbeautiful.co or UK or whatever your dot thing is there. .co.uk, whatever. Sounds Beautiful Festival. It's soundsbeautiful.co or whatever .uk. It's a 4-day music and truth festival. Mark Devlin's gonna be there. Allegedly, Dave, myself, Ian Lakey.
We know Mark Devlin.
Yeah, yep. Mark's a good friend. And it's gonna be super fun. Camping, dancing, music, truth. They have glamping for any of you ladies that don't want to be down and dirty. They'll set it up. Hey, listen, I like to glamp too. I'm with you. I like it to be nice. But that's going to be amazing. That's in June. So, plan on going there. And both of those conferences, if you use the code FEDAVE, I get nothing other than they'll maybe invite me back next year because I brought a lot of people. So make sure you use that code FEDAVE, no space.
That's fantastic. Listen, I've got to jump in because we're out of time on the network. So very quickly, what's the name of your website one last time?
FlatEarthDave.com. You can't forget it. FlatEarthDave.com. That'll take
FlatEarthDave.com. Yeah. Right. On that note, I've got to ping the mics off because you lovely folk listening on the network, you've been listening to WTFR with Flat Earth Dave as a guest. We're going to carry the conversation on for a while on the video platform DLive, and the video will be uploaded to Rumble, BitChute, and audio to Spreaker. Right, I will catch you lovely folk Friday, same time, same place. Bye for now. Okay, I'm just running the outro tune that no one can hear us now. So it's been a great conversation.
Thanks, guys. It's something that's super fun to talk about, and
right, hang on, no one can hear us at the moment. I'm just pinging the mics back on, so we're still live.
You can do me a favor, Dave.
Oh, hang on. It's all right. I'm playing around with mics. So go ahead, Leo.
My lady at home, Karen. Just say hello to Karen, will you?
Nope, not gonna do it. Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. Welcome. I assume she's a flat earther. She wants me to say hi.
Oh, she absolutely adores the chat.
Yeah, tell her to come. That Sounds Beautiful. It's in Dorset. Paige, where Sounds Beautiful?
Is that where it is? Dorset, yeah, in the South Coast.
It's there. It's there.
Oh,
so
we will see you there.
Yeah, so get your tickets early. I believe if you get them before February, there's no discount. But if you use the code FEDAVE, you get a chance to win your ticket money back. Big deal. They're not even that expensive, but what's it? It's near Dorset. It's near Dorset.
Near Dorset. Dave.
Yeah.
She's just brought an iPhone.
Yes.
We're old codgers. And she just bought an iPhone.
Yeah.
It took her 2 weeks to turn it on.
Oh, boy.
She bought it because she wants to get on your app.
Apple needs to pay me. A lot of people are buying phones because of my app. But the sad news is later this year, I hope to have a web portal, and I'm literally almost done with a Mac version of the app. So you're going to be able to get it on everything. And I predict next year there's going to be millions of people on the app. Millions.
I know nothing about phones.
Yeah.
But I do know the earth is flat.
It works on iPhones, it works on Apple, it works on iPads, it works on tablets, all mobile devices. It's going to work on the Mac in a couple of weeks, and then it'll be on a web portal where you can just jump on anywhere. And it's also going to be a great dating app and friend finders. People have already gotten married and have kids because they met on this. Because you think about it, any dating site, any party, anything to get people to know each other, you'll have things in common with people, but all the blue dots on the app, they're all the same. They're all, they understand what the jibby jab is. They understand that we don't live on a flat plane. They understand that, the elite like to eat babies and drink blood. And, just to put it lightly, and you have more in common with those people. It's just an amazing thing. Whenever we do an event, we had a thing called Flattoberfest. We've had conferences. Every person you turn around and talk to is just awake and aware and an amazing, amazing person. So it matches you to other people better than any site or friend, could write. Oh, let me introduce you to my friend, blind date. Every single person you meet is like, wow, this is an amazing person, male or female, whatever friend or special friend. It doesn't matter. So it's really good. And the app also, you're going to be able to search. Like, let's say I wanted to move to Dorset. I would type in, UK Dorset real estate broker. Bam, I found a flat earth real estate broker. And, because we only want to work with people that are awake and aware. Think about it. Let's say you were hiring somebody to hang a door or whatever, and you'll build a cabinet for you, and you got 10 people that are qualified, and one of them is just slightly less experienced, but he's the only flat earther. Which one are you going to hire? Right? We want to work with each other.
To get experience.
Yeah, listen.
Of course.
Of course. So, and then, with the friend finder, like, let's say I'm in a random city and I want to get something to eat. I want to stop at a bar, have a drink or whatever. I can look to see where the flat earthers are. Like, hey, there's some flat earthers in this bar. Or I could search restaurant, New York City, or wherever I am. And I'll say, oh, this owner of this place is or the waiter here is a flat earther. Then you go there, and then now you have a new best friend. And because you're a flat earther, they probably give you a couple free drinks, maybe, some free sandwich, and it's all good.
Oh, brilliant. Emma, did you have another question?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking about the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, I was just thinking about like the appearance of the moon when we're in the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Because is it different? It looks different, doesn't it?
It's upside down.
From the north and
upside
south.
down. When you're looking at it from North America and someone in South America, it's upside down, compared to the other person. But if you and I were standing in a room and I drew a 6 on the ceiling and you looked at it from the other side of the room, you'd see a 9. Okay. Does that make your room spherical?
But it's just like a distance.
It's not a distance. You're just on the other side of the moon across the plane. If I drew an arrow pointing to one side of the room and you went to the other side of the room, it would be pointing away from you, but I'm on the side that is pointing towards. Does that make it's upside down to you, or it's pointing, the other direction?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
But
no,
it's
I just
actually more complicated than that because I think that the sun and the moon and all the luminaries that we see are not physical. They're literally projected into our personal atmospheric dome. I did an experiment where I put a blue sheet up in my room, dividing the room in half. And on the far side of the room, I had a square flashlight facing the sheet. And now we're on the other side of the sheet, both of my wife and I. And on the sheet, I see it looked like a sun. It was round. Even though it was a square light, it was round, projected onto the sheet. And she's standing 5 feet to my left. I'm there. And I say, point to where you see the sun. And the sun was on that sheet. That's her atmospheric dome. So she points, I'm pointing to a spot on the sheet that's 5 feet away from hers. We're both pointing at the same thing in 2 different places. As I move over, it moves over. As I move back, it moves back. That's how we experience the sun. On my channel, DITRH, there's a video not too far back called, what is it called? It's called the projected sun, I think it's called, something like that. The projected eclipse or something like that. Short video. Watch it and you'll be like, whoa. Or just check on the app, on the FAQ page, on the eclipses section, the projected sun. I think it's the top video on that page. Watch it and you'll be like, oh, that could be how it works. Right? Because we're taught that flat earth is impossible. If the earth was flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge by now. That's all they have. Jokes, memes, and insults. That's all they have. They have jokes, memes, and insults. They have nothing. As a matter of fact, on the debunking the debunkers, which is on the app, on the web button, the button that looks like a spider web, debunking the debunkers, watch some of those videos. We have caught mainstream science, Stephen Hawking and these other scientists lying, faking video. Like they said, well, this lake is this long and we're going to fly a helicopter over and we're going to hover above the lake. And look, it's below the horizon, right? It's hidden by the bulge of the lake. but we caught them faking it. Where the helicopter went down and where the helicopter came back up, every wave was the same. The same 3 birds flew across. Basically, they just edited it together. And like, why would they lie? Now, there's 2 reasons. One, they know the Earth is a globe, and they just needed to do something to, to do it, and they're paid and possessed, or they didn't know how to film it, and they just lied, and they believe their own lies, because that's how indoctrinated people are. They just believe their own nonsense. 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. Bring it. Anyone that's doubting me, 3 Bitcoins, 1 globe proof. But before you do it, I say get the app, click the featured video of the day each day for 2 weeks, because you're going to realize that your proof that you have is nonsense. It's wrong. You're going to scramble. You're going to try to find another one. Check the frequently asked questions page. You're going to find that, oh, that's how that works. Oh, that's how seasons work. Oh, that only makes sense on a flat Earth. Oh, my God, the Earth is flat. And then you won't waste my time with your nonsensical globe, fallacious proof.
I had a couple of questions from folk in the chat. There might have been more than this, but questions I've picked up. One from Agent 51, asking, what is the strongest argument against the globe being the Earth? Sorry, against the Earth being flat.
You're retarded and you live in your mother's basement. That's the best that they have.
Okay.
That's all they have. There is no argument. The only thing they can have is gravity and southern star rotation. But I say, why are you arguing about southern star rotation when stars are scientifically impossible? Stars are balls of gas that, instead of filling the available space, they decided to collapse upon each other and create a nuclear furnace that burns for billions of years and never goes any smaller. They tell us our sun, I think it burns like 630 billion pounds of fuel every second or every minute or something like that for billions of years, and it hasn't burned out. The last time I took a match to a bag of hydrogen, it blew up. Okay. Why is it burning? They tell us a photon takes 1 billion years to come from the center of the sun to the outside of the sun, and then 8 minutes to crash into the Earth. Okay. Cool story, bro. Right. It's a bunch of nonsense. So, and we can also prove that the stars at the size that they tell us are impossible to see. I mean, I can go through the math, but essentially, they tell us Polaris is 433 light years away. It's 46 times bigger than our sun. Our sun is the size of a coin held at arm's length at, 93 million miles away. If we brought it right close to the Earth, it would just be gigantic. It would fill the whole sky. If you double the distance, it's a quarter of the size. Double it again. It's a tiny star. That's 1 light hour. Right? If we made it 200 times farther, that's a light month. I think that's light month. And that is amplitudes too far where you could ever see it. It's too small to see. Right? That's a light month. So the Polaris is 46 times bigger. So 46 months, 46 months away, that's 4 light years. At 4 light years, it would be beyond impossible to see Polaris. And they tell us it's 433 light years away. I mean, this stuff is ridiculous. And they want to argue about the rotation of the stars in the sky when we're looking up at a sky with a firmament, with water and things, there's 100 explanations of how the stars could spin on a flat Earth. I personally think that the southern stars are a reflection of the northern stars. But again, I can't touch it. I can't measure it. I can't tell you. But the heliocentric model is ridiculous. We send a balloon up at night from the ground in the middle of the night, clear sky. Camera's pointing up, we can see all the stars. By the time it hits 80,000 feet, all the stars are gone. Can you explain that? You can't explain that in a heliocentric model. I can't even explain it on a flat Earth model, right? But in the heliocentric model, it rules out, the stars should get brighter and brighter and brighter as you get higher and higher through the thickness of the atmosphere. You think, but they all disappear. Crazy,
Speaking
right?
of stars, yeah, it is. It's all food for thought. Here's one for you. In the video I keep referring to, that where I caught you talking about things don't disappear over the horizon; they disappear out of our perspective.
Yeah.
So my question then, and I'm sure you've got an explanation for it. the sun, as it disappears out of our perspective, how come the sun doesn't get smaller and smaller and smaller? It just remains this big disk that appears to go down.
So so where on the app frequently asked questions page, where does the sun go? Lots of videos that are going to show you what I'm about to explain to you. If you watch something, you a big object right next to you, you're standing behind a train, and as the train just goes away from you, it gets smaller and smaller really quick. The perspective makes it get smaller and smaller, right? But if I took that train, the back frame of that train, and I put it way high in the sky above you, it's small already. And as it goes away, it's going to go down due to perspective, and it's not going to get much smaller. It's only going to get a little bit smaller. We've done this. We've done stuff, and where we have a wiffle ball right next to the camera, and then one 7 feet away. The one 7 feet away is tiny. The wiffle ball next to the camera is gigantic. Then we just lifted the camera straight up, looking down at both of them, and they both turned out to be the same size. Now, when something goes farther away, it gets lower and lower, you're looking through all of the atmosphere, versus when you're looking up, you're only looking through a thin layer of atmosphere. And the atmosphere, depending on the conditions, how much water's in it, will magnify things. So as things are going farther away, they're being magnified at the same time. So it's this kind of yin yang of it's getting smaller, but it's getting more magnified. But when people say the sun doesn't shrink, that's just a global meme. The sun does shrink quite often. But when you're usually seeing a sunset, you're seeing it over water most of the time. And over water, there's always lots of magnification. And it's also hard to tell, but we have many videos, one of them filmed by a soldier in Afghanistan, super dry up on a plateau, and the sun literally just sat there and got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I filmed the sun getting smaller and smaller and then fading out into nothingness. It just literally blinked out in the middle of the clear sky because it was so far away its light couldn't push. But we're told your light travels billions of years. Lie. That's a lie. I think light traveling is a lie also. So once you start seeing this, you understand how it works. Flat earthers say the horizon always rises to eye level. That's what they say. It's wrong. The horizon always rises to the apparent eye level. When you look into the distance and see that horizontal eye zone, okay, it's thousands and thousands of feet above your eyes, but you can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference. If you're standing next to a mountain and it's a couple thousand feet, the top of it's a couple thousand feet above you, and then you went back 25, 30 miles, the top of that mountain is now at your eye level. It appears to be at your eye level. It appears to be at your eye level. So even if the earth was curved 30 miles, the amount of coverage is only a couple hundred feet. Why does the top of the mountain look like it's at eye level? So one of the examples I use in my video presentations is you're in New York City. There's a giant 50 stories, 80-story building, whatever. The sun's directly above you, and it's noon, and the sun starts moving, and it just goes beyond the building. So once it goes beyond the building, you can't see it anymore. Now, it's still up in the air. You can't see it. You can rise up in the air and see it, or go back a couple miles. That building is lower now, and you can see the sun. You have a better angle of attack on the sun. So that mountain is just like the building. The mountain in the distance that appears to be at eye level, the sun just goes beyond the mountain, and it disappears from the bottom up. As the sun goes away, it disappears from the bottom up. The top of this mountain, thousands of feet above your eyes, looks like it's at your eye level. It looks like it's the curve, the edge of the physical earth. It's not, right? Where does the sun go? Tons of videos in the app there. On my channel, DITRH, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Lots of perspective videos there. My presentations, Flat Earth Dave interviews. You can find all the links to all my social media on flatearthdave.com. Take the time and learn. Like if you say, well, the earth can't be flat because of this, instead of saying that, say, how does flat earth explain this? Does anyone know? Ask a flat earther. You'll get the answer, right? Don't come at us going, you're an idiot. This proves a flat earth. The only thing they have, the best argument, so the answer to the best argument is the lights in the sky, which are impossible, and their way they rotate. Well, we can explain it. We can explain it in lots of ways. It doesn't make any sense in the globe model.
One thing I always, and this is just a question I've had for years, and it's an obvious one for a lot of people, I'm sure. But when the sun is glinting through the clouds, and I see the sun's rays doing that, logic dictates the sun cannot be however many millions and millions, 93 million.
Yeah, 93 million
So,
miles
so
away.
that,
So that's called
I've heard it
rays.
said there's an explanation. Oh, there's a scientific explanation.
Well,
for
there's a couple things about it. Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago said, well, the sun's infinitely far, distance, so the rays are so far away, the rays come in straight. Well, how the heck did he know that? Why did he think that when no one's ever seen rays come in straight? They always come in crepuscular, right? And back then they thought the Earth was geocentric. That means that the sun went around the Earth. How does a giant sun infinitely far away circle around a tiny little Earth? That makes no sense, but they want their cake and eat it too. So he never saw crepuscular. He only seen crepuscular rays. And now the argument is, well, the sun hits the Earth, the atmosphere is curved, and they come in crepuscular. Well, if that's the case, how the hell did he do his experiment? Right? His experiment wouldn't work because the rays have to come in straight, whether they're refracting or just coming, or it's close. Either way, it would give the same flat Earth result. So what was I going to say? I had a good point on there. If you look at the sun when they have good crepuscular rays and you do the math, you go, well, that sun doesn't seem to be too far above those clouds. And I know the planes fly pretty high. When the plane hit the sun, great question, great thought. The thing is, as you remember when you were a kid driving down the road and you said, Mom, Dad, the moon is following us. They said, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Because your apparent position of the things. So the sun is literally right above the clouds. Go out when there's a full moon or a bright moon and there's little clouds spread out in the sky. You'll see that only the clouds that are right next to the moon are lit. The other ones are not. If the moon was 250,000 miles away, all the clouds would be lit the same if it could send light that far. How does a dusty, dirty ball send light so bright that it casts a shadow on the ground when, your body's shadow on the ground? Doesn't make any sense. But as you go up, the sun goes up. The point where you see the sun, your atmospheric dome of vision moves with you because you can only see so far in different directions. And that's your dome of vision. And these luminaries are projected into that dome of vision. But as you get up, it can only go up so high. We send balloons up to like 120,000 feet. I don't think the sun's much higher than that. All the balloons that we send up, it looks like the sun's at the same level, maybe 10, 20,000 feet higher, maybe, right? But I don't think we see the sun at 120,000 feet from the ground. I think we see the sun at 40,000 feet, 50,000 feet. I don't know. I think the sun, when we see it rise on one horizon and go to the other, I think it's traveling maybe 120 miles from one to the other. In our dome of vision, I think it's about that, okay? That's how we see the sun. Two people can be standing on the beach, 10 feet, 100 feet, a mile apart, watching the sunset, and you will see the sun walking on the water. That's interesting. The sun's walking on the water right to your feet. And the other person can't see what you see. You can't see what they see. So one could say you're having a personal relationship with the sun. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I like the allegory there. Yeah.
Well, you think about it, if you look at it, the sun dies on the 21st of December, is resurrected 3 days later. Okay. The sun provides light, feeds us, warms us. The sun gives us everything that we need. The sun is our savior. Without the sun, we would all be dead.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Listen,
right?
I've got to say hello to some folk in the chat. We've got a big audience here, actually. We've got I think I said hi to DJ Ash earlier. I'll give you another clappy thing anyway. We got Slev in the house, and good to see you, Slev. Thank you very much for the diamond, and Ash, thank you for the diamond as well. We got Olivia 242 in the house. We got Mrs. Kipling's cakes. We've got who else have we got? Olivia 242, thank you very much for the lemons. I think I said hi to Vin Landerson. Who else we got? I like to be inclusive with our diverse audience. unlike the mainstream, shall we say. Anyone else before I carry on? I Pork Chop Hill, good to see you. And I don't know if I can keep up with Droopy 10 in the house as well. Who else have we got? Anyone else? Anyone else? Well, I'm assuming everyone's enjoyed the show. So far, it's been really, really interesting. And I mean, crikey, you know, we could ask questions all night long. Diane D in the house. Good to see you. Thank you very much for the ice cream.
We can talk forever on this. I mean, the conversation literally is endless. I'm guessing many of your listeners are awake to flat Earth, but those of you that are not, please don't believe anything I say. Go verify everything yourself. Right? I made it easy for you. You can buy my app, right, which just makes it easy for you, or don't buy it. Just go to my website. There's so many resources there. You can't go there, take the time, use your brain, your God-given common sense, and walk away a glober. Because globe, the globe is the dumbest thing ever. It literally is the dumbest thing ever. And, on my channel, DITRH, I have and it's also under Why the Lie on the Frequently Asked Questions page by a friend, Laura Nina. She did a Why the Lie video. And basically, the gist of what she's saying is he who creates it owns it. And that's a true thing. And the satanic people that are running the world, they created the globe. They birth certificated us into the globe, and they use their fake fiat money. So if you play on their ball field with their fake money, you have to abide by their rules. And they it's only when you realize it's only a game, that you don't live there, you unplug from the ball, and you go back to God's gift, God's world, nature. They can't touch you. They can't do anything to you. Right? That all of this done is all of the rules in this world are done by contract. And you have to agree. They offer something. If you don't answer, then you accept. If you say no, you're accepting. You have to counter offer, or you have to just you have to understand how the game is played and unplug from the ball. Do not give them the energy. This is an energetic war. If you don't believe it, that's your problem, because they win if you don't believe it and just keep feeding the system. If you're living in fear, false evidence appearing real, you are feeding the system again. So when you unplug, like Neo, unplug from the matrix, the world is an amazing place.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got I think we've got one or two heathens, unbelievers in the chat, but as I said on the advert, I said globetards and flatards are welcome. So it's brilliant.
So
we got
here's
Princess
what I say.
Teddy Slut in the house very quickly. I've just got to say DJ Gray in the house as well. Welcome to you. I'm glad, good to see you all here. Sorry, go ahead.
The trolls will come at you and say, Dave White's a scammer. He just wants you to buy his app. Blah, 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 blah. If you literally follow my journey, you'll understand that none of this is about money. It's about waking up the world. And somehow I seem to be making quite the impact. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't care about the haters. But what you notice is the haters is like, well, they'll never offer a globe proof. They'll just insult. They'll say flat Earth is stupid. They'll say, you live in your mother's basement. That's not even a good researcher, because, I don't live in my mother's basement. You'll notice that if you go to their channel, especially like on YouTube, you get all these comments. You go to the channel, zero content, nothing. What you just create that account to come over to my channel to make comments, right? It's the dumbest thing ever. So again, if you think flat Earth is stupid, ask yourself what your best globe proof is. Send it to me. You'll win 3 Bitcoins if it's true.
I've got to run something past you. Well, a couple of things. By the way, we've got Aldo in the house. Aldo, good to see you. Right. I did mention this in an email yesterday. I just thought this was myself and Emma across here. We take our children to this wonderful place called Hope, Sussex. I don't know if you've heard of the place, but we're based in Sussex, but there's a home education kind of community centre built by the people for the people, which was built as a reaction to, shall we say, some of the tyranny that the world experienced during the lockdowns. There was a massive need, many felt, to provide for parents who were very reluctant to continue keeping their children in mainstream education. And I'll tell you what, the place has been an absolute godsend to me. It's us, it's both Emma and myself. We all live quite local to each other, but both Emma and we've got an hour and a half drive every week to get to this place. It's an hour and a half journey each way, but it's well worth it. Great community there. I know there's a mixed bunch, people from all walks of life. Some are flat earthers, some don't believe it. But I met this guy in person yesterday, Dave Mannell.
Dave, yeah, he's a
Trinity 4.
Amazing guy.
I met him you probably know him as well. Yeah, really, really nice guy. And we must have chatted for about 10 minutes and looked each other straight in the eyes, and I'm just like, yeah, we've got a connection straight away. So I'm looking forward to communicating with him. But yeah, he said some interesting things. I think he kind of hinted at the idea that in fact we're inside the world, we're like seeds or something. In fact, Emma's our resident astrologer, by the way, and you were kind of teaching about you cut an apple cross section to reveal the pattern of the seeds as
so we live in a toroidal field, if you know what a toroid looks like, and we're on that electric plane in the middle. That's where we exist. We can't exist outside there. We're on that dielectric plane inside this toroidal field. On the app, go to the homeschool page and click Schooling the Globers. There's some great stuff there that'll show you where we believe we live and how it works.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, any other? I expect you've been with us for what, an hour and a half or something? I think.
Yeah, hour and a half. Let's we can wrap it up. I just want to soundsbeautiful.co. Let me just confirm the website. And that's going to be in Dorset. And it is this June, soundsbeautiful.uk. That soundsbeautiful.uk. Freedom Festival, the 27th through the 30th of June this year. 4-day camping, amazing place. Just come for the relaxation. It's a little mini vacation. Anyone that's nearby, come and use the code FEDAVE. You get a chance to win your ticket money back if you buy it before the end of February.
All right. Bitcoin with you, Dave.
What's that?
Bring your Bitcoin with you to Dorset.
I can. Bitcoin goes with you everywhere. I'll bring it. Okay.
I shall see you there for sure.
Excellent. That's going to be fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your tickets early. I think it's going to sell out. They're going to sell 2,500 tickets and a staff of 500. So make sure if you're going to go, get your tickets. They're not too expensive. They're not expensive at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dave. It's been very, very good.
All right, guys.
Really has.
Yeah.
And have Trinity 4 on your show. Have Dave on your show.
Will do.
Yeah,
we'll have you back for sure.
Sure, no problem.
I'll tell you what, I think Trinity 4 is going to be kind of it. I think he's in the UK for about 6 weeks. I think he's going to be in the vicinity. I might even try and get him to our house.
He's an amazing guy. He's an inspiration to me. He's inspired me to speak up a lot more. He's done some amazing stuff. I featured some of his rants on the world tour that he went on. And they're mind blowing. They literally bring chills to your body and give you serious inspiration. So Dave is one of the best out there. So please have him on and make sure I get a link to know that he's on so I can watch it live.
Will do.
All right, guys.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. And I know you get asked this a lot. I hope you'll come back.
I will.
Because I'd like to do this.
This is a fun show. I love doing audio only. This, even though we're on video, where I don't have my green screen, because I have to talk and pull up stuff, and at the same time, this is relaxing. This is this is only juice, fruit juice, but it could be a powerful margarita.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Listen, I'm going to show the camera around. We've got Chris over there. He didn't actually get to say anything tonight, but he's reclining in the armchair. We've got Emma here. I think Chloe's gone to the kitchen now, but we've also got a guy called Damon in the house. This has been Leo and Colin and myself, Joss. Just so you know, there's been quite a few of us interacting here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
Nice. And also Ian Leahy, which is near you guys. He's near you guys. He does the history of flat Earth, and that might be really fun for your show also. So check him out. Okay.
And listen, what I'll do, I'll email you. Or where's the best place to? I guess
you have my email. You have my email already. You guys email me before the show. Use that email.
All right, that's great. And yes, I'll be in touch and get some details.
Okay,
etc.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.